I am not your Venus de Milo, perfectly sculptured from marble to be carefully pedestal placed. My name is not Eve. I offer you no temptation. I am not your concubine by night, transformed to memory by day. I am not the milk you thirst for, now dry in your mother's breast. Nor could you call me queen, for I have no dominion over beast, earth, or man. I am not a receptacle for the seed you indiscriminately cast in the wind. I ask no sacrifice of lamb's blood, for the stain would be mine. Do not toss gold trinkets at my feet, for they do not shine for me. I am no slave to a promise written in ink. Where there is no master, there are no chains to be broken. Bondage is no glory. I am woman, bone of your bones, flesh of your flesh. When I lay sleeping in your rib, you called me no name. I am that I am. Hi, welcome to Reggae Strong. I am Faybiene Miranda.
A regular TV show like this could be called Reggae Week, but Reggae not weak. Reggae Strong. Welcome to Reggae Strong.
Stars twinkle even as the sun monopolizes your vision. Running water, look again. Ice. Empty space, look again. Form. Black, look again. Light, light, light. Stars twinkle even as the sun monopolizes your vision. I was born in Panama. My mother is a Panamanian woman with Latin American, Native American roots. My father is a European, English, Welsh background and Native American roots as well. I just consider myself a poet, you know, a scribe of the times, a commentator of today's issues, and a patriot of positive testimony. Pain, madness, sadness, joy, gladness, hate, love, seeds of life's growing self, planted in poems, my poems, nurtured in the garden of your mind. Pick one, watch it grow. In about 1971 and 1972, I saw a movie called The Harder They Come. And the music was so reminiscent of a music that I had heard when I was probably about 10 or 11 years old by Desmond Decker, that when I saw this movie, The Harder They Come, and I saw for the first time images of Rastafari, so many of my own philosophical ideas came together under the banner of Rastafari. And as a writer, I found that the musical medium that was appropriate for the social commentary that I wanted to write was in fact reggae music. It was subliminal more than any other kind of music, and I decided that if I was going to write, I wanted to be in an environment totally conducive to my developing my own identity as a woman and also as a cultural being, which I felt I was losing in America. Drums, drums, intoxicating musical liquid. Drink deep, drink deep. Drums, drums, no wire communication. Heartbeat, heartbeat. Drums, drums, the unwritten word. I sight, sight I. Drums, drums. So I came to Jamaica, and I came without knowing anyone, and I lived there, and in my experience, without really a premeditation for becoming a writer or a songwriter or a poet, I just actually submersed myself in the culture at all levels and found for the first time an affinity with myself as a woman without having to prove myself as really a sexual being, a political being, although that in fact was what was emerging, but it was a more honest development. It wasn't contingent on what other people felt about me, because I felt very anonymous in this new society, especially because it was an African-based society where I didn't feel so much the lines of demarcation of having to be considered either black or either white. And so in my own self-educational development, a lot of things that I had never known about that were really important and integral to developing as a human being, I realized that what I really wanted to do was to establish myself as a writer for the times and the environment I was in. And therefore it manifested in a book of poetry called Sun and Moon, which I shared with a brother by the name of Mutabaruka, which of course at this point in time everyone knows. And I wrote and recorded my first single called Prophecy, which was a tribute to Marcus Garvey, who I consider a mentor in my life.
Don't go away. We'll be forward, so sit in.
Hi, I'm Noel Copeland. Welcome to Reggae Strong. Fine arts to me is an expression of the self. I find that I have to express certain things and relate to certain things that's happening in the environment, in my surrounding. And through art as a medium, I express or try to bring out a certain amount of awareness to the audience of what's going on. Sculpture to me is more alive because it deals with the third dimension. It's strong up, you want to touch it, it involves more senses. Instead of just visual, it deals with the feel of touch too. And most time people want to touch sculpture, so it involves that other dimension, you know. And I find I express myself much better in the third dimension than two dimension. This piece is called Nuclear Energy. The material itself has some significance. The wood, which is traditional energy, traditional farmer energy, like fire, coal, and the shape of this ceramic form, which would undergo a high temperature of over 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit. Symbolic of the nuclear energy, the shape of it is like a cooling tower, and the images around it is almost like telling a story. Like for instance, you see the light bulb, and if I turn it, you see even a man as if he's like scared, you know, because there's a lot of controversial issues surrounding nuclear energy. This totem piece is called Bluebird, and it's dealing with the displacement of birds from the rainforest and from urban areas, from the countryside with true development, and birds are being displaced and they're being pushed into one little area. So this piece is dealing with birds piling up on top of each other. It's like a totem tree, you know, it's a tree with birds in it. And bluebird is not necessarily dealing with a bluebird, but the feeling of being blue, you know. The birds are blue because there are no place for the birds to go. For I was trying to capture a Caribbean atmosphere. I was trying to create a feeling of home. So the images are dealing with Caribbean images, you know, like ordinary people, everyday people walking on the street or carrying a basket on their head, or a beach scene. So it's all created to reflect a Caribbean atmosphere. Next track.
Jamaica is an environment I found very difficult to leave, but if you're motivated to really go beyond what the commercial Jamaican environment has to offer, you've got to come out of Jamaica, especially as an artist. And though sometimes I feel as though I could just jump on a plane and go back to Jamaica, I ask myself, what am I going back to until I have a certain amount of works accomplished here? And at least this environment, as negative as it can be, I find that it hones you as a person, it hones your spirit. And after having been here 4 years and gone through some of the things I've gone through, I still feel very positive, very hopeful, and I've found that there are, in fact, a lot of individuals, a lot of brothers and sisters here who become a support family, an extended family, which is very important, because no matter where I live, the key is to find a unity amongst those that we live and work with together. And I found that here, and feel that I'm making my contribution not just within a musical or a literary medium, but in a civic, cultural, and work environment as well.
Ships once sailed from Africa with kings and queens of old, journeyed to a distant land, stripped down to their souls. Spirits cried relentlessly, let my people go. Spirits longing to be free, let my people go. Black tracks for creation, many a mile. Solomon's people, still a people on trial. Footprints in sand, erased by the wind. Was it an error of pencil and pen? Black faces, black traces, black races in time. The wind cannot carry black tracks from black minds. Black faces, black traces, black races in time. The wind cannot carry black tracks from black minds. Black tracks in blood cannot be denied. Though many have covered the truth with a lie. The mystery of history cannot disguise the facts. It takes more than 400 years to cover up black tracks. Black faces, black traces, black races in time.